January the 12th, Public Service Cabinet Secretary Justin Muturi, in a stunning during a press conference, outlined in shocking detail the harrowing tale of his son, Leslie Muturi's abduction on June the 22nd, 2024, while in the company of Embakasi West MP Honorable Mark Mwenje and driver Marangui Manyara. Honorable Muturi, who was serving as the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya at the time of his son's abduction, said that he had been waiting for answers for the last 6 months as to why his son was abducted. What should be of concern to any law-abiding citizen is that Honorable Muturi, as Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, sat on the National Security Council, the top security organ in the country. Honorable Muturi has been seeking answers for the past 6 months, and they have not been forthcoming to someone so senior in the Kenya Kwanza regime. So senior should be a matter of grave concern to all of us. Following Honorable Muturi's statement, the Director of Criminal Investigations, Mr. Amin, invited the Cabinet Secretary to record a statement. If the idea was to cower Honorable Muturi into silence, they picked on the wrong man. If the bombshell of the Sunday statement was not enough, Honorable Muturi's signed statement clearly and squarely pointed the blame at the main culprit behind the inhuman abductions. A man who joked, made light of the abductions and Gen Z's demonstrations, a man who placed one phone call inside of the State House Nairobi Pavilion to the National Intelligence Service Director General, Nuruddin Haji, and had Leslie Muturi released within an hour. That man, as you have previously stated, is President William Ruto. Fellow Kenyans, the revelations by Secretary Muturi on the identity of the Commander-in-Chief of the abduction squads is quite telling. If the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya cannot get answers to the whereabouts of his son, who can? If the Attorney General cannot get his phone calls answered by junior staff, such as the DG of NIS, or the DCI Director, who can? If the then Interior Cabinet Secretary, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and PS Raymond Omolo are furnished with lies by their juniors, what is the state of the Kenya Kwanza regime? Fellow Kenyans, the Kenya Kwanza regime has established command and control structures outside of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, carrying out illegal and criminal activities against Kenyans. We have actually since established that some headquarters of this abduction squad was somewhere near Ruaraka. As we have previously stated, William Ruto is a commander-in-chief of the abduction squads. This has been clearly demonstrated by his own public pronouncements on the abductions, as well as those of his conceited cronies in government. Kenyans and the international community should read between the lines. Mr. Ruto and his lieutenants' chest thumping over 2 weeks ago in Bungoma was not only a gross violation of Mr. Ruto's oath of office, it also bore all the hallmarks of a dictatorship and a crude attempt to instill fear in Kenyans by subduing them into silence. Mr. Ruto's dictatorship, which now kidnaps and tortures people in underground prisons, must be considered as a renegade criminal enterprise. And this in accordance with the ICC's Rome Statute. And for the avoidance of doubt, the Director General of NSIS could not be held responsible alone. The ICC statute talks about the person bearing the highest responsibility. And that is not Nuruddin Haji, That is William Samoei Arap Ruto. The people's loyal opposition will not sit back and allow this disgraceful attempt to take us back into the dark days of fear and oppression. We shall lead from the front. You've actually demonstrated leadership from the front because you've been in court. We'll fight them in court, we'll fight them in the streets, we'll fight them everywhere. We demand that Mr. Ruto respects Kenyans and the oath of office he has sworn to preserve under Kenya's Constitution 2010. We also demand the immediate release of the remaining abductees. We actually have a date on the 27th with the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kanja, before Justice Bahati Namui. And they know what the ruling was by Justice Bahati. If they will not show up on the 27th, he will cite, convict, and sentence on the spot. So nobody is above the law. Not even Director General Kanja or Director DCI, Mr. Amin. If Ruto refuses to respect and enforce Kenya's constitution and laws, the solution is straightforward. He should resign. And the world is changing. Just today or yesterday, a sitting president of the Republic of South Korea was arrested in State House. We celebrate this kind of development because people must be held to account. This is what the Gen Zs have been advocating for. Meanwhile, let Mr. Ruto and all others who perpetrate violent crimes against Kenyans know that they will not go unpunished. On the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, IBC, we have been very clear and consistent and followed the law at all times. Those who are barriers to the establishment of the IBC selection panel are puppets of Mr. Ruto. They bear the highest responsibility in the current constitutional crisis and an attempt to pre-rig the 2027 general elections. We will not allow that to happen. And I'll ask my brother Kioni to respond to some of the remarks by some of these renegades who can even say they know how to manufacture presidencies beyond 24 years. These renegades must be called out. Lastly, for avoidance of doubt, Honorable Farah Maalim, who until now has been Wiper Democratic Party's deputy leader, stands expelled from the Wiper Democratic movement for violating the Constitution and the rights of Kenyans and even abusing Kenyan mothers. Thank you and God bless you. Mheshimiwa Kioni
seems to have staged a civilian coup because he has refused to constitute the IBC. It's been confirmed here by Muturi that the abductions were really under his command because he's the one who made the call and the young man was released. So if your son or daughter is released and you cannot get hold of William Ruto, what does that mean to us? We are on our own. When we have the likes of Sudi, Kamket, Kimani Ichung'wah, and Farah Maalim, allowing the utterances that we have heard from their mouths in the presence of William Ruto and to the amusement of him, William Ruto, kwa sababu yeye ndio alikuwa anapiga makofi kuliko wananchi wanapotukana watu. It means that the center is not holding, and we as Kenya